Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Andy Molitor. And boy, oh boy, I hope you caught the deep dive last night. We got Justin Fields' first touchdown score on the pregame, and whatever unders you guys gave out, they all hit. Team total unders, second half unders, third quarter unders. What a wonderful game that was.
Yeah, I pissed away part of my second half under, played a little Green Bay second half. They didn't score in the second half. They did kick a field goal late. I take that back. But no, the under, Drew, I was nervous for the under 20. I should have trusted it. Primetime unders are a thing, which makes me nervous because I have a primetime over tonight. But yeah, what are you going to do? It was a fun weekend. The highs, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, the highs of the comeback in Dolphin Land. Yeah, it was in Baltimore, but that was something,
that was
especially
awesome.
since like maybe 3 times a year I actually like give out a money line. Like I'm playing this money line as well. I think this team
It is
wins.
rare. You guys are not money line
I
guys.
I don't do
Unless
it
someone's plus two
normally.
and a
If
half.
I'm betting a money line, it's because the team is like plus 1.5, and I'm like, I'm not going to take the points here. I'm going to sell down to the money line. We actually did that last night with the Atlanta Falcons. As poor as they are roster wise, and as bad as this team probably can be, in best case scenario, again, they lost another game, gonna get their quarterback. I'm excited for this team's rebuild. I don't hate the new front office. I wasn't ever a Dimitrov guy, but that's like a nice segue into tennis. Dimitrov sounds like a tennis player, spelled a little different than the one we know on the ATP. But yeah, the Falcons, we bet the Falcons straight up, essentially. The money lines aren't up right away on a Sunday night anywhere, but Bookmaker has the thing where you can expand it, and the Falcons were plus 2.5, I believe. So it had,
And it's
plus
a
two,
half.
plus 1.5, and it didn't go all the way down to pick, but it went to plus half. So this is the only time maybe in
Ooh,
the
you get the
in the
tie. Let's have the
history.
tie.
Yes, I'm protected against the tie. It is similar to a soccer line where I have taken the plus 1.5 line on the Falcons. So honestly, the most hilarious outcome for me ever will be that game tying. Since I tried to bet the money line, couldn't do it. So now I'm kind of cheering for a tie. I may even bet a tie prop if you can get like, I don't know, 60 to 1 on something like that. Better probably needs to be bigger than that. I'm always such a cynic about what the books will give you on stuff like that, because the actual odds of a tie are probably, I don't know, you get a couple a year, maybe 120, 140 to 1. Maybe I should get an 80. I'll look for an 80. If she ain't 80, she ain't a lady. And with that, let's move on to the ladies who are out east. And when I say out east, I do not refer to
The
the
far east.
Charlestons nor the Washingtons of the world. Far east, as they once said, Tokyo and Seoul, just a couple of Olympic host cities now hosting WTA events. And honestly, there's some decent names at both of these.
We're back. The Asian swing, Andy. We haven't had it in a long time. Generally, at this time of the season, there would be a bunch of tournaments in China. WTA Tokyo is actually a pretty big event, especially given Naomi Osaka, which she's been able to do now. We don't have a full Asian swing because we're still not playing tennis in China, because I still don't think we found Peng Shuai. But hold on to that for another day. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and look up where is Peng Shuai, and you'll have yourself quite a little rabbit hole to go down in the internet this afternoon. But we'll start in Tokyo, where, as I look at this, I tweeted out last night, I did get one outright pick in. I have no idea what's going to happen in these tournaments. It's a weird travel spot. It is a strange time of year. But like you said, there are some big names here. Obviously, Osaka goes to play in her home tournament. And then one of the big names, and much better player here, I'm just going to fade Carolina Pliskova, Andy. For some reason, she is minus 2,000 in a small tournament that, it's a 500, so the points are there, but really looks to me like coming in, getting a paycheck, and maybe heading out. Now, she has done well in this tournament in the past, but that was several years ago. I think it's been about 3-4 years since we've had this tournament in Tokyo, again, outside of the Olympics. And Shinakova here, again, probably loses this match 6-1, 6-2 or something outrageously quick, but came through qualifying, has 2 wins under her belt, acclimated to the conditions here. And in a WTA 2-set match, I'm really not sure it should be 10-1 on the money line here. So going to play a little bit on the money line. a little bit on the first set money line at plus 550, and a little bit at plus 1.5 sets at plus 300. Basically, the way these matches usually go, Andy, is we'll see Shinakova, a big underdog like this, take the first set while Pliskova is still sort of getting her legs underneath her, and then the favorite comes through in the last two sets comfortably. So if we can get the first set, we cash those last two, and we've got quite a fun lottery ticket in our pocket at 10-1. So give me Shinakova. Again, just largely a numbers play, and it's tough evaluating prices kind of this far out on the edges, right? I mean, it's hard to tell you that a 10-1 underdog should only be like a 4-1 or 5-1 underdog. It's just hard to make those splits. But again, I have this closer to 4 or 5-1 than I do 10-1 before I start, adjusting basically for all the other little things I talked about. So Shinakova, money line, first set money line at plus 1.5 sets. Again, don't bet the game spread. Don't bet anything on this match that has any juice on it. Let's pick some big numbers because this either goes very well or terribly. Then we'll go a little bit, I guess, northwest. South Korea would be above and a little to the left on my mental map there. Seoul, Jeannie Bouchard. This is the one outright I did bet. Didn't put it up here on the screen, but if you're listening, look around. Jeannie Bouchard's like 18-1 to win this tournament, and she's an underdog in round one for some reason to Tatjana Maria. Maria, a very clever player, and will honestly throw a lot of junk at Bouchard, which can be tough. Maria knows how to really slice, play some interesting volleys and things like that. But Bouchard overall, the much better player. I'm not too worried about her fitness as she has some tennis under her belt. Was in Chennai last week, so shouldn't be too tough of a travel spot in terms of time zone. I think it's at least only an hour or so adjustment for her. Again, I'm not too worried about this at all. I have her slightly favored in this match. A plus 130 looks great. And then Kasanseva, a player coming on here at the end of the year, goes up against one of the most profitable fade bets you could make all year. Chloe Paquet is having just about as bad of a tennis season as anybody. Got smacked around by Komal Tandy last week in Chennai as a big underdog. And for some reason here is a favorite to a young woman that's playing better tennis, has better numbers, and is actually winning matches here. I have Kasanseva a pretty solid favorite here, minus 125, minus 130. So plus anything looks great. So a big underdog and a couple little underdogs, all happening probably while you're asleep.
That is the other nice part about this. And it was further than I thought. There's a 3.5 hour time difference between Seoul and Chennai. I don't know why we bet in Chennai, but yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
India has a half hour, so that's off. That's why I believe it's like India and North Korea has their own time zone too, regardless. But yes, Bouchard, she looked good in Chennai. She has had a few days rest, and you're right about Maria. She's a junk baller. Like she's gonna return a lot of stuff and lets you F it up. And I think Jeannie played well enough to get past her. I think I'm on it. I'm gonna play that 18-1, the future bet. Hope for the best. I haven't even looked at the men's draws for this week yet.
I did see, by the way, if you're still lucky enough to have a Canby account, Jeannie 28-1 there.
What? God, I was going to do same game parlay tonight too. Maybe
I'm going to wait to give everybody the afternoon, then I'll go over and push the number down to 20 or something with $3 at a time.
Yeah, just go to the kiosk and just feed it 20s. So we'll look forward to that overnight. But tonight we have two games. The NFL is doing an NFL Monday Night Football double header in week 2. I know we've had these in week 1. I don't fully understand. It has something to do with the TV contracts, but we are going to have two games. Anyone who enjoys the deep dive halftimes, especially, I think we're 3 out of 4 on halftime bet winners so far with a couple. We had the third quarter over. Nothing like the first 2 drives ending in touchdowns for that. And then the second half under, I believe there's only 6 points scored in the second half last night. The full game under stayed under somehow. But tonight we will only be doing the late game. It's my kid's birthday still. This birthday is drug on for like 5 fucking days, but I have some birthday dinners to attend and things to do. And like I said, also I found a place across town that has batting cages. Gotta fix it. It's like a looping, how the kids do that looping swing where it drops because they're dropping their back shoulder.
Oh yeah,
you're just gonna hit under. You're gonna go underneath the ball every time.
You're just pumping it up.
Find a plane, and you can't fix that without live pitching. So I brought $100 in quarters with me to work today. Going to taking her to the batting cages until she cries for her birthday. So happy birthday!
I did want to press you on this a little bit. You guys talked about it on, I think, the deep dive before the week started, even a little bit last night. These prime time unders, is this just a joke now, or is this like a full on theory? Because the way Drew was talking about it is, it's like he's just going to blindly bet prime time unders for the rest of the year. It sounds like
it's a thing early on, and sometimes it has to do with, especially you end up with it on Thursdays a lot. I feel like because they put some of these goofy early season matchups on Thursday games, but I don't know. Like it's still just a median number, and it's a coin toss, and you're gonna end up, tossing a bunch of tails to start with. Last night was a good one for a couple teams who offenses hadn't looked good so far. I think we'll probably see points tonight, but I'm not so sure we'll see it from the Titans. I actually laid the 10 with the Bills. If you want to say home field's worth about 1.8, 2 points, something like that, I can't get to a spot where I have the Bills 60 minutes of football, only 8 points better on a neutral. The Titans are going to be missing some secondary pieces. Their defense was supposed to be a strength, and now they've suffered injuries, including one for the entire season. They lost a pass rusher in the preseason. This defense is a shell of what it could have been. And the Bills are not a team who takes their foot off the gas pedal. So I know some people are trying to maybe buy down, do the Bills first half. I don't mind that either. The Bills have been a strong first half team. They start strong, but I'm just laying the 10 points here. So I don't like the late favorites that big, but I don't see them. This game could absolutely stay under, and the Bills still cover. This feels like a kind of a schlopping. A shellacking. I'm just making up words at this point. A mollywhopping. Yeah, that's a good one too. But 31-10 kind of thing where it's several touchdown lead for most of it. I believe in the Bills. I believe in Josh Allen. I want him to make his push tonight for MVP, as I have some MVP bets on him. And then the Vikings-Eagles game. Yeah, this total has come down a little. It's still 49 where it matters, honestly. So Pinnacle is still a 49. I believe Bookmaker, which I'm pulling up, still is a 49. It's dropped a little at some other shops. Yeah, it's 49 flat at Bookmaker. I bet it at 49. I put 50 here just because that's what it was early this morning, but I would still take an over 49 here. The primetime under is a thing, I guess, but the Minnesota defense is not good. And the highlight of that defense has been maybe a little bit of the pass rushers. I think the Eagles have the offensive line to counteract that. And just Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, A.J. Brown. Like there's too many playmakers, and we've seen both of these offenses perform at a nice level in week one. The Vikings didn't have to do that much because they had a nice lead, but I definitely think we see some points here. So over, chalk for Andy, a favorite and an over. Real cute. After
that makes perfect sense to me.
I feel like I deserved better last night.
We're old Andy.
Bears plus 10 was about an inch, and maybe not even an inch. I should go metric for that. Maybe a centimeter away from getting there. But I like getting rich after the game. But it's even more fun. It's getting rich early in the game. And we've had good luck. We hit a couple already. Noops, you've been firing. And I will say I've made first touchdown scorer bets already for this week today. But I have not bet any of these as singles yet. I just did the I haven't gone and shopped around and found the best price for any of these, but how many 10 first touchdown scorer bets today because we have 2 games? Let's fire away.
2 games, 6 in the first, 4 in the second, and that's right, folks, because they're both different games. If you wanted to, you could put together the 24 parlays, and we both may or may not have already done that, and probably even have a graphic to show you how that would look. But let's start with Bills Titans. A game where one of the things I talk quite a bit about is it's hard to find yourself betting a lot of players on the favorites, especially in a game where someone's a 10-point favorite. The numbers here, the way I think they derive these lines, a lot of it is leaning on the fact that the Bills or any particular team one night might be a big favorite, because you look at the top of the market. I told you last week that Josh Allen was the only chance we'd probably get to bet him at double digits all year. He is 5-1, 6-1 some places here. So the correction has been made. But you look, it's all Bills here at the top of the board. Allen's 5-1, Singletary 7, Diggs 7, Gabriel Davis 10, Dawson Knox, for Christ's sake, is only 8-1. And then you've got Derrick Henry up there. So as you start to look down the board, some really nice numbers here on some Titans, but 1 or 2 Bills, and we'll start with them, actually stuck out. Zach Moss had the second most rushes of any running back last week for the Bills, and was maybe not so quietly, second in targets. 6 targets for 6 catches. The Bills are using him quite a bit, and just based on that usage and what they did even last year using him in the red zone, I have this number much lower than what you're looking at here. 18-1. I have that closer probably to 12 or so. You could probably even make a case as low as 10. It should be pretty much the same as Singletary, the way they're using both of those guys. And then another wide receiver here on the Buffalo Bills, Jamison Crowder. Now, he did only get 4 targets last week, but that's just one less than Gabe Davis. Puts him in really good contention here. Think that he's historically been very good near the goal line. Somebody that, given his position, is always able to find room down there at the end zone. And again, based on the amount of time the Bills, not only last year, but so far this year, has thrown to their third wide receiver, especially around the red zone, just a really nice number there on Crowder at 25. Would play that at 20 or better. And then we go to the Titans. Again, they're underdogs, so we're going to get some really nice numbers on some Titans receivers. The top 2 receivers and targets for the Titans last week, Treylon Burks and whoever the heck this Kyle Phillips guy is. I'm being perfectly honest. I'm not really sure who this is, but got a ton of looks last week, both of them at 30-1. Really good bets. Next up, the quarterback. Again, would love to bet Josh Allen, but we're not doing it 5 to 6-1. Tannehill, 30-1. Tannehill runs in a touchdown or two just about every single year. I think people forget how athletic he is, and that he wasn't actually a quarterback when he came into the league. He was a skill position player coming in from college. I think he became a quarterback in college. But either way, very athletic guy, runs it in. And Jeff Swaim scored at least one first touchdown score for us last year at a big number. I'm going to keep betting him again. The Titans love to throw to tight ends, and Swaim is always there. So that's what we've got for Bills Titans there. Again, 6 looks. What do you think? Any thoughts? Anybody I might have missed?
No, I love Swaim, and that's the thing too about some of these. The thing about like vacated targets is they always go, nature abhors a vacuum. So he was like, "Oh, Tennessee doesn't have any receivers." Like, yeah, the teams don't just say, we don't have any receivers, so we're going to stop throwing the ball. We're just going to run away slow. And like, they're still going to throw the ball. So they're going to throw it to some names. And like, that's the thing. Those guys are getting targets because someone has to. So you're going to get some of these teams that have, moved on from star players. You're going to get some weird names in here, but those guys score touchdowns. So, or, at least they're getting the targets. So if they're in the red zone, there's a decent chance one of them is going to get a look. So I love that.
All right, we'll jump to the Eagles-Viking games. Just 4 names here. Little different dynamic. The line's pretty close, but very top-heavy teams in terms of guys who generally scored the first touchdown. Delvin Cook and Justin Jefferson up there, 1-2. Makes a ton of sense. We do have a Justin Jefferson revenge game, though, so maybe play him for fun if that's kind of what your deal is. A.J. Brown at the top of the board, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts, again, all single-digit numbers. But as you go a little further down the board, let me talk to you about Kenneth Gainwell. Someone who just gets the ball a ton from this Eagles team. Second most rushes of any running back last week. Was tied for second in terms of targets in the field. They love to use him in gadget plays, especially near the end zone. 18-1. I love getting a running back again that looks kind of on paper like he's the second, maybe even third string running back, but really is pretty much even with Sanders in terms of opportunities he's going to get. And then give me both of the Vikings tight ends here. Irv Johnson, somebody generally gets a lot of red zone targets. Really didn't do a lot last week. So I think maybe that's part of the reason we're getting a little bit of better number on him. Only saw 2 targets, didn't catch any of them. But the other tight end, Johnny Munt, 3 targets, 3 catches last week. And we know that Minnesota loves to use 2 tight end sets, really, especially towards the end zone. And again, probably Justin Jefferson scores if the Vikings get the first touchdown, maybe Dalvin Cook. But both of these guys are going to get some opportunities. And so will the quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Didn't rush for one last year, but has at least 2 rushing touchdowns in the last 3 or 4 seasons beforehand, is someone that is not afraid to roll out, is not someone who's afraid to try to run the ball in. And the Vikings don't mind running a quarterback sneak on 4th and 1 here. So 60-1, absolutely huge number. I think there's even 100-1 out there. So go ahead and grab all of them. And I agree, Patrick. It's good that you're in here. Hopefully you remember to do this. And hopefully Madman Munt gets it done for us. I'd like that.
Johnny Munt. Johnny, isn't that a Sublime song? Remember that? Johnny Munt was a man with a real strong will to survive. It's not Johnny Munt, I know.
I was thinking of the John Goodman character from
Johnny Butt, the Ballad of Johnny Butt. And then what if if your book, and every book should let you parlay everything, because for the most part, it's not a good idea. But if there's two games on the same day, wouldn't it be fun to get one of these six men up top and really sweat it? Wouldn't it be fun to say, I have Kirk Cousins to score the first touchdown at 2,000 to 1? Jesus Christ.
So
If
that's what you're
Swain gets
looking
in
at.
any of those, even if it's Moss, I have Kirk Cousins to score the first touchdown at 950 to 1. That's getting down to the goal line. You need Delvin Cook to break a shoelace. It would be just lovely. Like just let him run with it. I've seen
So
the
yeah,
best
that's
one too, where he had his presser. And he's wearing like a goddamn Oxford. He looks like a dork. And someone tweeted, "I bet this guy has so much Kohl's cash." just the perfect tweet. But yes, explain your little chart.
So we've got six names across the top. You might remember those are all the first touchdown scores from the Bills and Titans. Tried to change the colors there. Unfortunately, they both have the same freaking team colors. So
That's
your
true.
Bills there in light blue, your Titans in dark blue. And then on the left there, the four names from the Eagles and Vikings game. And basically what you have in the middle there, this is just one book I looked at. I started at Bovada because they have honestly the best interface of any book online. It's unbelievable. Everyone should just copy their stinking software, but they don't. So went in there, and if you do it correctly, you can click six names, click one of the four names on the left, and let you do the two-team parlays or whatever. But put them all together. Here are your odds to one. Like Andy said, if you decide to parlay Zach Moss and Kenneth Gainwell together, we've got a 305 to 1 ticket here. It's just really what it comes down to. Again, we're parlaying. In this case, I believe this was like 18 to 1 with 18 to 1 or something goofy like that. And if things get really weird, Andy, and it's Jeff Swain that gets the first touchdown and Kirk Cousins, I will have placed a $5 bet to win $10,000.
And we will take tomorrow off because we're taking it to the casino. Honestly,
Oh,
actually, Bovada pays out pretty fast.
They really do. The problem is
I
it's
can have that
Bitcoin,
money.
so
I can have that money out pretty quick.
might be worth about $9,000 by the time it gets to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see how Bitcoin's going, but not great. It's been a rough
Quite a bit
week.
of fun.
It's been a rough week for the
It rallied last week too. I was starting to get optimistic.
Honestly,
We saw 22 again.
It's one of those things where it'll come and it'll go. So it's Monday for me too. I didn't even write the right name of the sponsor in the promo thing. It is not no home advantage. It's no house advantage. But how do you make a house a home, Alex, with family? And I consider you guys family. So do me a favor and please support our sponsors. No house advantage. You can play in pickup contests to win up to $250K or more in cash, or play against the house 20x your entry. Player props. You're basically just putting together some player props. I know some of you are awful smart. You can understand how these work. You can go find player props that are getting steamed up in the market, and you can take this app and probably put together a very plus EV parlay. Essentially, if there's a prop that is getting a ton of steam in the real market, you go do it on No House Advantage, and you can essentially get it at a much lower price in a parlay. So check it out. Download the app. Use promo code BetSpurts, $25 deposit match bonus. If you have any questions, hit me on the Twitter. And with that, catch you tomorrow for some more brown bagging.